Well, everyone, welcome to session 49 of Pokerole. Things ended on a very sad note last session. We have an appropriate song for this session. Just lead us out. Lead us on?
Lead us in?
Lead us in? Directions? I don't know. But, I will hand it over to Kar.
Very well. Let us begin. Last session, you all fought SolusOwl and her beast, a tyrantrum that was under her control. Tiber had taken command over Riley's body. And unfortunately, Tiber unleashed a move, one he had named Scarlet Bedlam, which began to bring the caverns of the Stone Alcazar down upon itself. And while for a moment it seemed as though you might drag SolusOwl to justice, Tiber had very different plans in mind. Suffice to say, she is not one of the ones who made it out. And though you, Team Cheer, and many other Pokemon who were enslaved, as well as many Salanded, were able to flee, there are those who could not. And among those who seemed to suffer most was Lizard. For a moment upon your exit from the ruin, Riley took command of his body again. He stole what he could from Tiber and gave everything to Lizard. We left off with Lizard just awakening and Tiber having reasserted full command. You all are beaten and broken, and even though his body is beyond normal repair, Tiber has begun to leave of his own accord. And that is where we are. You are just outside the entrance to the Stone Alcazar, deep within the rustic canyon. And your friend, or what was once your friend, has begun to leave. Tucker is heavily damaged still. Without the darkness shrouding his body, it's clear that the Poochyena has patches of fur missing. After being primal, having fought for your lives as well as his own, Tucker is exhausted. What would you like to do?
At the two of you who are awake.
Yes, indeed.
Suppose we will start with apologizing.
Yeah.
So, Brooke, yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. Turned out you know, you're the leader, and you were right. We should have got out of there. I was just so mad. I just couldn't think about anything except making SolusOwl hurt, like she had hurt Lizard. And now we're in more than ever.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have
From now on, I'm gonna listen to you better. I'm really gonna take you more seriously as the leader. So, right now,
I'll assume Kyrio is typing.
I'd presume.
That's okay, Kyrio.
That's all right.
Brooke stares at the Riolu. Riley, what did... Brooke pants, trying to ignore the pains that are catching up with him now. Where are you going? He glances at Ralph, and then back at Riley, uncertain what to do just yet. The Riolu turns his head, a glazed-over crimson, replacing the normal hue of his eyes. Where am I going? I'm going to get my revenge. And he begins, again, to shuffle away from the rest of Team Cheer.
if I may, I think we have time to warn Pango G. Damn it! What is that dog?
It's okay. It's honestly less bothersome than the random typing I'm hearing.
I think we have time to warn Rise and Pangoro before he makes whatever movie he's gonna make. If I'm correct, and I'm pretty sure I am, I think he's gonna go back to the mirror cave. I think Tiber is gonna try and evolve Riley's body, because that's what I would do. There's no way he gets revenge as a Riolu against two fully evolved Pokemon. If I had to bet on it, I'd say that's where he's headed right now.
Start a straw poll, see if the audience agrees with Ralph.
I love the fact that the entire audience basically says, wait, he said Pangoro? He must be serious.
The fact that that's all it takes. God.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph, Riley is... Tiber's going to... Brooke looks around at Tucker and Lizard. Right. We need to get out of here. Somewhere safe. He goes to pick Lizard up off the ground. I can't stop him. Lizard is barely even half conscious. Their eyelids flutter briefly, and for a moment, their head turns, and they try weakly to lift their arm towards Riley before they go limp again. But this time, they're still warm.
This time they're what, Kai?
Still warm.
AK just fainted.
Andy, Ralph's gonna scoop up Tucker and give him a piggyback ride. Actually, no, I think it's more adorable. He holds Tucker like a child, holds Tucker like a swaddled babe. There you go.
Kind of like
fairly
cradling a dog belly up, kind of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold children like that, but okay.
I mean, dogs are... You can hold a dog like that.
You both vaguely remember the way back to Mudbray's Ranch. If nothing else, it's safe. And it's a good place to start heading back to Savantown. Brooke watches Tiber walk away before starting to move slowly. Let's get back to the ranch.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's a good idea.
As you walk, even though the cold dark falls over you all, you lack one companion you've had since your
Team
start.
Cheer needs hugs in these difficult times.
You are unhindered. The earthquake and the deluge of frenzied and frightened Pokémon seems to have scared off any of those who would prey upon you in the dark. You eventually make it back to the switchback trail leading up the side of the rusted canyon. And though, normally, as you reach the top, the warm glow from the windows of the ranch house would be inviting, it's just not enough. Not to shake these feelings. But it is safe. When you reach the ranch house, Mudbray greets you in his typical drawl and ushers you inside, giving you all whatever rooms you so please. He doesn't pry, per se, about your missing friend. But perhaps the wizened old Mudbray knows better. Decides to grant you all a chance to rest.
I'm going to imagine that the sad piano sounds is just following the group around, so he knew not to say anything.
Also, I apologize, Car. You're gonna have to repeat a little bit of what you said because I had not turned off the rock sounds, and LKM had a voice will talk over you for a moment.
That's fine.
I have now managed to struggle through. I have disabled that alert as well. It's a separate alert from the other one that I disabled, so that's why I didn't do it.
What did we miss?
I'm not sure. Audience could tell you.
What did I miss? What are we missing, audience?
I've just disabled every single thing that's Streamlabs or Rocks related for Pokerole's scene. So, that is to say sound-wise. So it should be fine.
After the dark surrounding. Team Cheer, at least those conscious, managed to make their way back unimpeded to the switchback trail leading up the side of the rustic canyon. When they reached the top, though normally the warm glow coming from the windows of the ranch house would be inviting, it's just not enough to shake the feelings they have right now. And when they reach the door, Mudbray ushers them in. And certainly he has congratulations and questions he might like answered, but he keeps them to himself for now. Instead, allowing the team to pick whatever room they want to rest in. Perhaps thinking that recuperation is better than interrogation at this time.
Kyrie asked a good point, and along with his question, I also want to add, who is there at the ranch beyond that?
So, none of you have seen Mudsdale yet, but based on the generally positive demeanor of Mudbray, Mudsdale made it back just fine. However, in the ranch house there is a fireplace, and just laying next to it is the Houndoom that you found, who escaped with Mudsdale.
Sort of where he was.
Oh, he made it out. That's good.
Yeah. They did a skateboard together, so I was hoping so.
Yeah, it could be like teleporters in Star Trek. It's hard to say.
Perhaps. So, two of you are mostly unconscious. One of you is gone, effectively. But what about the other two? Do you think either of you will be able to sleep?
I honestly don't think so. I foresee Ralph just laying there and looking at the ceiling until he passes out.
Well, he'll probably pass out from exhaustion eventually, but
Passion.
pash.
Very passionate.
I might need a mechanical refresher as to any sort of. Is there any sort of what's the side effects or penalties of having gone
So basically, the
Primal.
first primal doesn't do anything aside from give you the primal point, but every point after that starts taking away your logic points as a cost.
I see. Bit of a risk, that.
It costs like you can manually remove a primal point, but it's like 50
It's
XP.
50 XP, yes.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
It's a shame that Riley has the spa coupon because you could get rid of a primal that way as well.
Oh god, the hybrid can go the spawn anytime he wants now.
Oh, that's where he's actually going. The spa.
It does have to heal, so you know.
We'll see.
Yes, Tucker's in a danger zone, I would say.
Tucker is in a danger zone. Riley,
Hello.
you're vaguely conscious of what Typer is doing while you are being made to move. It's not nearly the same, even, well, equivalent to what Typer was able to sense with you. But it's cold. It's dark. You know you're still in the canyon. You know the sensation of eating. The sensation of slowly recovering. There is sleep, but you don't dream. Not in the black void that you're in. With barely any memory to keep you company. You feel like something important has been lost. That you're in danger of losing it forever. But you simply don't have the strength, not yet, to try and get it back.
This is nightmarish.
I've decided I will just narrate the Tiber sections while people are typing and such. It helps fill the quiet.
Yeah, to fill the quiet with more depression. Trapped in his own head, having to be constantly aware of everything. It's horrible.
Sort of like a less free version of multiple personalities, actually.
Ralph, what you said before, Brooke says suddenly. Why would you? I mean, what makes you think I'm the right person to listen to?
Well, I guess you're the most qualified. You stepped up to be the leader when no one else would. And, logically, Tucker is a child. Riley is rash, even when he's, Riley. And I just wouldn't take it seriously enough, I guess. So it has to be you. And you do better than you give yourself credit for. If we would just, listen to you, then maybe we'd be better off. Because a team acting as a unit is more effective than 4 Pokemon just doing their own thing. Even if the 4 Pokemon doing their own thing each has an amazing plan, it's not going to be as effective as 4 Pokemon acting as a group doing one good, safe plan. That's what we were supposed to be learning at G-Spray. But, any good lesson is worth repetition. Am I holding the button down long enough?
Yes.
Oh, you've been totally fine this whole time. I would apologize for being so quiet, but I am effectively unconscious.
Indisposed, yeah.
It's okay. I've got a thing for you.
Gonna cover up with a blanket both Tucker and Lizard. I'm gonna put a blanket over them.
Aw.
I lost Riley. I don't know if I could have stopped him. I didn't even think to try. Brooke mutters.
Look, whatever was keeping that body going was some otherworldly stuff. I mean, I knocked him out good after he killed SolusOwl.
Riley? Lizard stirs briefly. Eyelids fluttering. Their body aches as they slowly try to sit up from under the blanket. For a moment they open their eyes, but squeeze them shut before the light. Where's Riley? What happened?
Ralph opens his mouth like he's about to answer, like he's about to give an answer, but looks to Brooke as if, like, for permission, like a what do we tell him look.
Brooke is silent for a bit before looking at Lizard. Riley's gone. Tiber took him. Lizard opens their eyes, watering with tears. Their eyes are blue now. Is it because of me? Lizard leans forward, clutching at the blanket.
Absolutely not. This was not your fault. You did everything you could.
I'm sorry. Is all Brooke can say. What if I had... If I just had gotten you all to leave,
Sorry not to interrupt, but that voice is very quiet and I can barely hear it.
Same.
But if I hadn't... If I gotten you all to leave, and then... Lizard begins to cry, quietly, hiding their face in the blanket.
Ralph shakes his head. Now, you know we wouldn't have listened. Even if you had begged us to leave. We're too hot-headed for our own good. Hey, wait, you'll find... Still finding our mental and physical limitations. I guess we found them. Shakes his head again. We were in over our head from the start.
Lizard sniffles, wipes their tears on the blanket, at least as best they can. We're going to get him back, right?
$100%. I'm pretty sure I know where he's going. If we can warn Pangoro, if we can warn Pangoro, then we can cut him off before he gets there.
Nodding, Slandit takes a shuddering breath. In a moment, to look at all of you. The guilt is clear on their face, even they refuse to say anything more. And Lizard goes back to laying down, to try and sleep, if nothing else. Brooke sighs. Let's sleep. We'll figure out what to do tomorrow.
Good idea. Ralph lays back to go to sleep.
Would this be a time for all character sheets to be fixed as far as health goes?
Yes. Those of you who have will below your limitation may restore it.
Okay.
Brooke curls into a ball in the corner, trying to ignore the pit in his stomach.
Aw.
I'm just thinking back to one of the like ask us questions from so long ago that brought up like this exact situation. Poor Brooke.
Yeah, fair is correct, Beerus. Will restores up to a particular value. If it's over, will can go past its cap though. That will stay lost if used. So if I had 4 of 3 and then I used that fourth one, it would not go back up to 4. That's why I have the second. That's why I have the dash. I know some people don't actually put the dash on their sheet. I think Ralph doesn't. Yeah. But I assume Ralph is also 3. Is it always 3? Is that just always the value?
Except for 3 is default. I only have 3, so I just use the number.
Riley actually had 4 for some reason as his max.
Riley earned a fourth first cap.
I see. Beerus Karserus could tell you what to do with Tiber's section, I suppose. Probably not really need to mess with it though.
You don't need to mess with it a whole lot. You can raise the health a little bit.
That's true. You could always DM Beerus if you wanted to change something particularly.
True. I also do not watch the stream because of internet for the most part, so I rely on you guys as proxy telling me what must be done.
Sure. Oh, you don't. Okay. It's not actually always clear to me if you have the chat up or not. So, did you know you can pop it out without
the? Just not the.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
I have it without the stream.
Yeah.
But I can't see the overlay that way.
Yeah, that's fair. He has Tiber mostly at question marks for everything except for HP.
That'll be fine. I was really tempted to give Beerus Tiber's full stat sheet before this, but in the interest of allowing Beerus to be susceptible to surprises as well, I haven't.
Oh, yes.
I will give it to him after.
That is fair. Giving Beerus exclusive information can be a dangerous thing sometimes anyways.
Yep, that sheet will be available after things happen. Would we like to, on the dawning of a new day, switch to the Mudbray Ranch song? Or do we want to keep it at one less?
What do you all feel? I feel we had our big moment, so I wouldn't mind changing it, but we could also keep it this way. It's really up to what you guys think.
Yeah, dawn of a new day.
Dawn of a new day. Change of music to try to move forward a little bit. Could work that way. Say bring back normal music, says some viewers. Some people say, so it's a mix. It's a mix.
What number is it?
10 under locales.
I thinking of it in RPG terms, I think the music would change. Because I don't think it would just... I think it would let the moment be poignant and then with the song, and then when things move forward, the song would go away. Because that way the song keeps its weight, I suppose, if it's not used all the time. That's how I would see it from actually like a video game. But anyways...
The Ranch is not a very energetic song.
Nah, it's a chill song too. So, let me go ahead and what number actually?
Number 10 under locales.
10 locales. Okay. Just keep it quiet. Well, it's a quiet song anyways. I'll turn it down a bit if it's loud though.
Yeah.
Nah, it naturally is a quiet. I think this is a good volume. You just let me know if it isn't. Okay, we're back.
So with the dawn of a new day, I think there's two fan content things that should be shared. The thing Car did, and the first thing Senka did.
That's actually, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if I shared a little art this time?
They are for sad moment, but also not interrupting the sad moment we were having was important.
Yeah, this is a good transition point, so I was asking if it's okay. Let me go ahead and just quickly injure these so I can share them easily. Okay, that's a word now. Yes, there's actually 3 things in total. Should I share all 3? 2 are from Senka, 1 from Car.
What's the second one from Senta?
It's probably the face.
Remember the face?
The face is one. That was the one I was referring to.
And then there's the broken limbs is the other one.
That's a whiff.
A whiff? That's a whiff?
Oh yeah, it is a work in
okay.
progress. It's not complete yet.
That's fair. It's a whiff.
It's part of the little mini comic as well.
I'm making fun of your pronunciation. You're not noticing this, but okay.
Fuck up.
It's a whiff. You whiffed that one. All right, here. Let's share a bit of art.
Very nice.
Yes. I don't know. I felt it was appropriate to have the storyteller there, asking the poignant question.
I like it.
It
I like the
took
way
me way longer than I care to admit to realize that was the storyteller.
I could tell based on the spines. Jolteon has a distinct shape, so even in silhouette. All right, and here's the other one. That's Senka. Senka's really one hell of a manga artist, I gotta say.
Holy shit, that's great.
For those unaware, he was in my main server before he showed up in the Pokerole server, and he's been a really nice and receptive guy. Just been real communicative and watches stream stuff. I really appreciate his participation and his involvement.
Yeah, this is the scene way back when Tiber first woke up.
Mm-hmm. Was this the exact lines?
This is the exact.
I'm pretty sure, because Senka's been slowly catching up on everything, and they would probably know better than I would at this point if those were the exact lines.
I can confirm this is the exact line. It has been burned into my memory. Thank you very much.
Really, really good style, though. I should hire them for something later, I think.
It looks like full-on manga.
Doesn't it? Like, seriously.
Yes.
That straight up looks like he's... Like, he looks like he's about to fight Goku. Like, straight up.
My money would still be on Goku, though, to be honest. He's got the thickest plot armor.
This is true.
Yeah, it's true.
You kill Goku.
Sorry,
he goes to what did he go to hell? Was that specifically right? But he had a good chat with Satan and then got back.
He dies like every other episode. Like, you just can't keep him dead.
Heaven is the vacation home.
Unfortunately,
Basically.
Tiber's got minor plot armor, maybe, but even if he did, it's not enough to compete with Goku's plot armor. Okay, Tiber has literal armor, but none of you have seen it yet.
I have. And so has everyone in the other art you drew.
Oh yeah, fine. You've seen my rendition of it. In any case, dawn comes almost too quickly for all of you. You dream, as you have before. Wait, really? Holy crap, that's interesting information. I'm sorry for interrupting that.
Go. Smash.
I didn't know that, so that's actually
But
cool.
the dreams are short. fragments of a larger whole. But that doesn't stop the static from being there, skittering at the edges of your vision. And it makes it all the harder to remember the dream when you awaken. But it's still there, hovering with the edges of your minds. I've already given Tucker his. I will need to do Ralph and Kyrio's later, because I have something particularly special for Kyrio at another time.
Oh, so you did. Thank you for telling me. I didn't see the message.
Yep. I said earlier I had a thing for you, but things were also happening.
Yeah.
Lizard also awakens. They look tired. And notably, the marking on them has also become blue, just like their eyes. They don't seem to have noticed. But, at the very least, there is the mildly comforting smell of warm food that wafts into your room. A familiar equine face nudges the door open to your room. Mudsdale. Though how the heck you didn't hear him coming is a mystery. Well, howdy there. Howdy there. Sorry, hard to tell when some folks are still waking up. Mudbrady's almost done making a breakfast. If and y'all would like to have some. We noticed some things. The Mudsdale looks around a little bit, kind of awkwardly. But, Grandpa said, not to say nothing, so I won't. Breakfast is ready. Yeah. And just awkwardly backs out.
That sounds great. I was so tired and so sad that I forgot I was hungry. Oh god, now I'm extra hungry.
He kind of has a right to be this time. I appreciate how he was the first one model up.
I'm gonna make him attack so that he closes his mouth.
He's thinking of chopping down food so much that he chops the air.
But yeah. It's like, God. Yeah, I was so sad, so mad, and then so sad, and then so tired that I didn't have time to be hungry for a really long time. So now I'm super duper hungry.
Well, him waking up is pretty obvious. What about the others?
Brooke sits up, looking a bit haggard still. How long ago did the pioneers leave? He asks. They've made it back to Savantown by now? Mudsdale answers from beyond the door in the hallway. According to the old man, they must have left not long after you did, searching for me and all that. Thank you. Thank you again for saving me. The fiery horn-looking fella said he wants to follow y'all after the pioneers. I don't know if that'd be okay or not, but I'd reckon that if they kept a good pace, they're probably already there by now. Then again, I don't know how many of them can walk through the night. Lizard gets up and starts to trudge after Ralph because, well, if nothing else, food is comforting. Just doing our job, Brooke says, looks at the Houndoom. Sure, why not, I guess. The Houndoom is quiet, but nods. It might be a brash canine, but it's not stupid. And Brooke stays behind, waiting for Tucker to wake up.
Well, on that note, Tucker actually had seemed to be awake for a while there, but was clearly taking his time rousing himself. Seemed like there was a lot on his mind, and he stayed mostly quiet. Though for the looks in his eyes, it's pretty clear that even when he was under his primal state, he remembers all that happened. There's a line.
You okay, Tuck? Can you speak? Brooke asks.
Tucker sort of bends an ear for a second and, yeah, I can. He's pretty passive about it, but he does seem to be pretty much in his normal mind.
How much do you remember? Yes.
Tucker looks at Brooke for a second and then just sort of eyes the ground, kind of scuffing a paw against it. I remember most things. Kyrio.
See no, hear no, see no evil.
The dog does seem a little confused still, like he's still trying to collect all his thoughts. But after a moment, he does look towards Brooke again and asks, "What happened after I fainted?" While asking the question, the dog does slowly kind of creak to his feet for a second and then nuzzle against Brooke's belly. It does seem that he would like a hug.
Yes. Brooke lifts an arm, beckoning Tucker in for a hug. Is Riley here?
Yeah.
You recognize daybreak. It's bright, almost painfully so. Body aches. But you're moving again. There is struggle at some point. You recognize that exertion. It's familiar. It brings you minor clarity. But it's ever so brief. And then the sensation of eating again. You're still healing slowly.
Am I healing faster than I normally would? Or is it, the same?
Let's just say you may have healed 2 or 3 HP at most at this point, or at least your body has. Brooke squeezes a bit for Tucker, a bit for himself. Tiber killed SolusOwl and the Tyrantrum. There was a cave-in. We made it out, but Lizard... He sighs. Riley did something. And now Tiber's out there. But Lizard survived.
The dog listens. The first parts, despite him being primal the time, it's pretty clear he remembers. His ears go particularly tucked as the cave-in was mentioned, and it's pretty obvious the dog remembers those that didn't get out of that cave-in. But when what happened between Lizard and Riley and Tiber is brought up, he goes a bit wide-eyed and then just looks at the ground very plainly for a bit. Lizard, I had a feeling that... He shudders for a second. That he was gone. But he's back now, and Riley's... He seems to be trying to process it. Sort of nodding. And understanding that probably none of this can make sense to any of them completely. He looks to Brooke one more time. It seems like he's crying just a little bit. Not that he wants to. What are we doing now, then? He asks Brooke. Very specifically Brooke, for definitely seeking guidance. Also, I apologize if my Tucker voice isn't on point today.
Hi.
Brooke hesitates, but then nods. We're going home. We have to warn Pangoro and Rise. Can't keep this a secret anymore.
Tucker nods to that. It's kind of obvious that by this point that he didn't like keeping secrets anyways. Alright. Then, I guess we should get ready. He nods with just a little bit more resoluteness. Wiping his eyes with a paw. Seems like he's trying to be strong right now.
After that, well, Ralph has an idea where Tiber's going. I think I want to go too. For other reasons.
I want to help him if I can. Tucker responds softly, but there's definitely a bit of strength in what he says. I don't know what to think between Riley and Tiber, but I want Riley back. he caps off what he says by giving a rather firm head nuzzle to Brooke's chest. Even giving the Toto a lick to try to comfort him too. Dogs, after all, can sense when others are feeling bad, after all. And he could tell that Brooke's hug was not just for him.
Brooke manages to smile. We will get him back. Routine cheer. Nothing can stop us, he says, almost convincingly.
Tucker nods to that, his tail managing just a bit of a waggle. Doesn't look like he's totally convinced either, but he wants to believe. And it's clear he was going to work towards that.
I heard something about breakfast. Better get going before Ralph eats it all.
Tucker perks up to that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
We don't have long. Let's go.
Let's hurry.
It's true. As you two make your way out to the main area for breakfast, you can already see Mudbray has this ladle in his mouth and is trying to back Ralph away from a table that has been set up that has breakfast food. It's mostly biscuits and scrambled eggs, but, you know, better than nothing.
You say that like that's
Lizard
a bad thing.
is sort of... I mean, it's not. It's just there's no bacon.
Well, that is a bad thing, admittedly.
Because, unfortunately, you know, bacon is a bit of a luxury.
Yeah, especially out here on a farm. As it is, after all. Not a farm that... Not like a human farm where it's like, let's just go, you know, take that cow out.
Yeah. Also, like, well, there's definitely a side of that table that's exclusively meant for Mudbray and Mudsdale because, dirt cakes.
Hey, we should be glad we're not getting just some dirt cakes too.
Mudbray knows how to treat guests. Mm-hmm. Mostly. Back, you voracious critter. Leave some for your friends. Speaking of which, good morning to you.
Just one more hot shelving.
When Ralph, like, reaches, he gets a ladle back to his hand. No. You wait until your friends have had to serve it.
Get guys, hurry up.
Hurry up and eat it because it's too tantalizing.
I want thirds, so they won't let me have any until you guys get firsts.
Darn tootin'!
Tucker manages a genuine smile to the scene.
Gotta leave some for the rest of us, Ralph.
I better. Otherwise, that fur of yours ain't never gonna come back even.
Tucker blinks to the statement, and then looks back at his back, and winces.
I guess you're right.
He didn't even really notice until now.
Gosh, look like you got in a tussle with a Charizard at this rate. Stand down, Ralph. There's plenty for everyone, Brooke says with a chuckle. won't go asking questions. And I believe I promised you all a reward for helping out and getting my grandson back here. So consider this part 1 of my generosity. Look, I can't remember, and Old Man Mudbury can't remember, and Mudsdale can't remember, so the point is moot.
We must remember the Mudhorse family relations and family tree. It's very important.
Y'all can correct me. Exactly. Exactly. Also, that word is too long for Mudbury to remember. But yeah, there's biscuits, there's scrambled eggs, there's a couple of berries. Mostly only a couple because I'm pretty sure Ralph got most of them.
Oh no.
Wow. Imagine not sharing.
And on that note, Tucker will politely divvy, even making sure that Brooke gets a biscuit. But he will grab large portions all the same. He's not the... Ralph Sense is the only one that worked up an appetite after yesterday.
The food is hale and hearty and filling. Lizard eats a surprising amount.
Actually, that is noteworthy for a Salandit especially. What does Lizard do during the meal? What's he looking like?
Well, Lizard's eyes, as well as the markings on them, have turned blue, for one. But that aside, they just eat quietly in their corner. They look guilty, sad, but they're also not talking.
Tucker does pay some attention towards Lizard without interrupting, without forcing him to talk. The dog does notice his changes of coloration and finds it curious, though. A few casual sniffs of his snoot does confirm that Lizard is still Lizard, after all, and that they didn't get replaced by another Salandit. He also kind of examines Ralph and sees how he's doing too, and could tell there's a bit of resolve in Ralph that wasn't there before. No key. Lizard has blue eyes and blue markings. Not blue markings on his eyes. At least I don't think that's what Car meant.
That would be... It's a very different circumstance.
Basically, the red on a Salandit is now blue on him, I would assume. As well as the purple eyes being blue. I guess you would say purple for that color. Kind of violet, I suppose. I don't know.
What's the difference?
There is one, I think. I think violet's like a more passive shade.
I'll file that under. It's something about colors I won't remember.
Color theory is important for an artist. You're an artist sometimes, so maybe it's important for you.
It's like one drawing a year.
But at some point during the meal, Mudprey leaves and comes back with a basket full of roots. Now, I seem to recall that one of y'all helped clean out my root cellar. Well, this beauty happens to be the biggest dang root in the cellar. And it is yours. Hard to get things this potent anywhere else, mind you.
Wow.
You tell me if there's anyone in Seaspray or Savantown that can make an energy root this big and this potent. I dare you to defy the potency of my roots. Stomping a foot. Energy root? Brooke asks curiously. Yep. Energy root is usually ground into some sort of powder, and they mix that into potions. Well, or something like that. I hear it's made of mashed up berries, and they add the root powder, and it's real good at healing Pokemon up. I, of course, just like to chew on it because it gives me energy throughout the day.
Tucker looks grateful, but when he leans over and gives it a sniff, the very, very strong, very medicinal smell causes him to wince and scratch his nose for a second before he tries to shake the expression so as not to look ungrateful. Looking at the description, I notice it's nasty, so... useful but nasty.
We don't exactly mash it up here in powder and whatnot. Usually we just sell it to the pioneers when they pass through, or, you know, whoever's running through the town to town. You know, all those things. Then it gives us some pretty poke, though. Mudsdale interjecting. Wow, that sounds super useful. Thanks, Brooke says, stashing it away. Now, that is part 2 of my gift. However, I am not done. Oh, and I should probably get your box full of things as well. You, horned doggy. What? Go get the box. The what box? Go get the box, darn it. Okay. Weird old mule thing. The Houndoom grumbles, going to look for the box that has your stuff in it. Mostly Ralph and Tucker's stuff, but, you know, their stuff nonetheless.
I love you, Fair. You go towards the leader for making a bad joke, and then you make a bad joke. Good. Fucking double standard. Love it.
Now, part 3.
Part 3?
What was part 3 again? Oh, right. Where did I put that thing? Then Redbray trots off into the house. I'm sure I put it somewhere that wasn't the attic. Have you checked the attic? I just said it wasn't in the attic.
He's low on patience today.
You realize how much peace and quiet he's lost.
True. Also, as for the confusion, I guess that's weird. I don't know. Apparently, if you get invited to a game while playing TTS, it shows up in TTS. Didn't know that. Granted, it's not even a TTS game I got invited to. Very weird.
Where have I put it? Oh man, you might as well just look in the attic. I told you it's not the attic.
And as long as they're distracted, Ralph is gonna get another biscuit.
I mean, nobody's going to complain. And eventually, Mudbury comes down with what looks like sort of, I would say a set of reins. You know, like those straps and things that generally go around horses when they're hooked up to a sleigh or something?
Oh yeah, to attach them to, like, the sleigh or whatever. A yoke? Yeah, that might be.
And he sets them down before the group.
Wait.
He's here to help me and
I think you cut out or something, or maybe you just awkwardly started that sentence. I'm not sure which.
Well, he brings them and sets them down before the group.
Okay.
These here have helped me and Mudsdale pull a bunch of things that, well, normally would take a lot longer to pull. And, well, since I've got Mudsdale back, he can compensate for all the trouble he's caused by doing extra work. Oh. No moping. In any case, these are yours. It is the least I can do for you getting my kin free of, well, whatever predicament he was in. Him and the horde doggy don't really talk much about it. Hey, old man, I got the box. Mind your elders, boy! Now Doom rolls his eyes, sighs, and sets the box down that has the items that were stored in it. Please take me away from here. He's had me doing chores ever since I arrived.
Keep burning.
It's kind of like you never left, dang it.
So, what was our third gift here exactly?
It is the equivalent to a belt of power.
Oh.
I set down the item down by the initiative
Oh,
card.
I didn't see it. Oops.
It is specifically a +1 to strength. I put that in the description, so if you hover over it, it'll show. Oh, we should probably get rid of that bonus to strength you have from Hal.
Oh yeah, I knew there was something I needed to remove, but I couldn't remember what it was. Wait, was it just a yellow dot we added? That's weird. I should have used an arrow.
It was easier because it's combat long instead of temporary.
Ah. Well, thanks for remembering.
I also don't know where. Yep, I also don't know where we store the yellow dots, but it doesn't matter. It looks like we just altered the color.
I think that's probably what we did. I can dump it with the arrows, actually, in case we want to copy it and stuff. Speaking of which, maybe I'll cut out some of these arrows, because we have way too many here for some reason. We're just there. That's better.
A bunch of negatives and pluses and stuff.
Oh, is that what they were? Well, they're all gone now, sorry.
Savanta will probably still ask you to do work. Just a fair warning, Brooke says. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't even know where this Houndoom came from, actually. See, an even native. I don't know.
Old man, he was talking to me. Sorry, what was that? Look, I don't mind. I just don't want to be here anymore. Besides, I feel kind of indebted to you all. The Houndoom shrugs a bit. If I can find a place to stay and some good work, I mean, if it means teaming up with the rest of you, if you'll have me, I guess. Look, I'm not gonna say I need to be Lear. I'm not that dumb. Just please take me away from here.
No, yeah, that would not be good, because you know, we followed your idea, and never mind, I'll stop talking.
Also,
it takes the Houndoom a minute before it dawns on him that you followed his idea and bad things happened, so he just gets that sort of face on and sort of moves backward away from everyone for a minute.
You know, I should get Houndoom's bottle, which I don't have. Gen 2, right?
Yes.
Pretty sure of that. Yeah, let me pull that boy out, especially if he's going to be traveling with us. Oh my god, the unknowns are creepy in the fucking bag. Holy crap. They synchronize in a really unsettling way.
Oh no.
Oh, there it is. Okay, found him. Found Tiny Boy. Also, apparently there might be a new animation on these now. I don't see it though. Actually, maybe it is there. I don't know. Projectile attack was an added animation to the models, which we might end up seeing if it updates and then I grab a model. I'll let you do it. That's good. He'd be taller than you. I would imagine he'd be taller than Tucker, yes.
Yep.
Tucker kind of gives a nod towards the Houndoom.
Yeah, you can come with us.
He seems okay of having another canine around. Though he does caucus. Oh, sorry. There's another Brooke message. I'll let that go.
Oh, I almost didn't notice. Thank you for reminding me. Brooke rubs his head. We'll take you to town. If you want to work for us specifically, you'll have to talk to Pingor. But I'm always happy to have more people on the team. Trails off a little at the end.
Tucker does seem a little curious about the Houndoom and perhaps wondering where he came from, but he doesn't. He does not seem to barrage the other dog with too many questions right now. Also, this belt of power is a...
It is a garment.
Garment that... You know, there's only one person here that doesn't have a garment.
Also, a belt would look really stylish on Brooke.
I think a belt makes more sense for a two-legged creature. Generally.
I mean, also just
like a bandolier
necklace for special attack bonus. It was useful to Brooke.
Actually, was it strength or special? I think it was strength.
It could be either.
It is strength.
Oh, it is specifically strength?
It was meant for hauling
right.
heavy stuff, so I'd imagine it was power. Yeah.
My bad.
You are bad. It's okay though, I love you.
It's fine. But, you know, Brooke can probably make it a bandolier, you know, becoming a pirate slowly.
And we can sing pirate shanties. It'll come full circle.
Ugh.
And there's your extra yellow strength at the end of your bar there.
Yay. That actually balances his stats.
Pure balance.
Not bad. So everybody else is really specialized. So.
Yep, Brooke is a good all-rounder. Now, unfortunately, Mudbury and Mudsdale can't really offer you guys much in the way of getting back to Savantown faster. But they do give you all some food supplies that'll help you for not needing to try and hunt here at the top of the Rust Canyon on your trip back. That way you don't have to eat through any seeds or berries that you may have on your persons.
Definitely handy. Upon getting his equipment back, Tucker does contemplate looking at his back again, putting the uniform on, but decides against it since it will probably get very dusty.
Yep.
I guess I should put it back in the tank. There we go. All right.
As it stands, most of you have full bags. Well, to an extent.
Well, Brooke's got plenty of space.
Well, I mean, another rank up and we won't have to worry about that too much. Because that's where the sturdy bag gets added. Tucker's naked. He's natural dog at the moment. That's a weird way of putting it, friend. Can't see charms garments for the moment. What are they wearing at the moment? Yeah. Oh, I see. You're answering a question. Yeah. Currently not wearing the dress. I can't remember. The original dress he had got messed up and then it got replaced. It got messed up in the place I forgot the name of, the forest, by acidic poisons and such. So he got a replacement from V, and now he's being a little bit more careful with the next one, basically. Actually, Karserus.
Yes.
The second outfit, did it have any differences compared to the first?
Not really, because it was just easiest to make a copy.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's why I thought.
Except maybe, like, some minor adjustments to be more comfortable for you, but that's about it.
Alright. Yeah, the Tucker might benefit from maybe getting it modified for better durability, I suppose is the best word I can think of.
So are you all heading out, or are you going to linger a bit?
Well, if there is any linger time, Tucker would probably decide to check on Lizard after eating, like personally, without all of them there at the same time. And he'd probably go something like,
Are you okay?
Lizard flinches a bit. They blink and look up at Tucker, looking particularly sad as their eyes settle on some of the bare patches where your fur was burned away. I'll be okay. I just want to focus on getting Riley back. They look away halfway through speaking. Lizard is very clearly not okay. But it's easier not to admit it.
Tucker analyzes the lizard for a second. And then does a gentle nuzz against Lizard's side.
I want to get him back too. But don't forget what he did for you. You matter too, Lizard.
I know. But we can't leave Riley like he is. It's not fair. It's just not.
Tucker nods quietly to that.
We'll get him back.
He eyes back at his own back, noting how Lizard observed his burns.
Don't worry about me either. And if you want a ride or something again to make the trip back easier, just ask.
Brooke comes over and says, Lizard, did you notice you've changed color? What? I did? Lizard twists and turns, wincing a bit since their body still aches. But they do get a glimpse, the blue mark on their back now. They start to cry and hug onto their own tail. Can we please go? Does it remind you of anything? Brooke says. Lizard nods, but they have their eyes shut.
Tucker leans over and gives a few gentle licks to Lizard's head. And then he turns to Brooke.
I guess we should get going, though. I think it'd be better for some of us, especially if we don't just stick around.
He kind of eyes towards Lizard.
I'm trying to say, Riley's still here. Brooke leans down and pats Lizard's head. He's with you, because that's what he chose. So don't worry. Lizard swallows hard, gripping tight to their tail, and nods, blinking away a few tears. I know. That's why. And Lizard looks up at all of you. That's why I want to save him with you.
Tucker just kind of holds a gentle nuzz, pressing the still furry parts of his sides against Lizard for just a little bit of extra comfort. There's another line.
We'll get him back. You'll get him back, Brooke says. I promise. Lizard sniffles a bit and nods, rubbing at their eyes a bit to remove the tears. They adjust their hat, one of the other pieces of Riley that they have, and slowly get up.
As Lizard starts to shuffle, Tucker does briefly turn towards Brooke before following Lizard, and gives Brooke an extra snuzz and a smile that very much expresses that was the right thing to say. Car, might I ask?
Yes.
So, Lizard's still obviously sore from everything he went through. How's Tucker doing aside from having a very bad fur day? What kind of pains would you assess Tucker to have?
It's a dull ache, but when you pass through areas where there's sunlight coming through the windows and it hits on those patches, they start to burn.
Like a bad
They're
sunburn.
very,
then.
yeah, like it's a burning sensation, but it's not like a piercing pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a sort of liquid heat just under the skin in those areas. It's unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Too bad Pokemon doesn't have the equivalent for aloe vera.
Would that just be raspberries?
It could actually. Good point. That might do it. Applied as a gel, or as a mush, perhaps.
Wow, raspberries was one of those things you could have found in the storage.
Raspberries. Okay, here's questions. Okay, raspberries applied directly to the forehead. Doki doki.
As Tucker regathers his items, and kind of sorts his bag before they go, he does note the box that he has, or the box that he got from the one storeroom in Salazzle's den. And now there's a moment of peace. He gives it a look over, kind of curious about it. He's not really sure what possessed him to even grab it in the first place, but something about it seemed to strike him. And it still does. Is there anything of note about the box that we could address now that things are more relaxed? I wasn't actually there when we picked it up, so a recap of the details of it wouldn't be bad anyways.
It looks to be made of gray plates of stone. There isn't an awful lot of ornamentation on it, at least that you can make out at the moment. Anything it has is particularly faded, but it's vaguely similar to the one that your old magic jewel was in. But there's no key, and you're not seeing a keyhole or a lever or a switch or a button. It's heavy, though.
I'm kind of wondering if I think Tucker would probably, bar any other obvious form of mechanism, basically just kind of give it a sniff over and see if there's anything you can pick up that way, since there's no obvious way to open it.
Alas, to you it smells as though it is a stone box. You may need someone who's better versed in old things to see how to get it open, perhaps.
Right, give it a while. Have it open 2 minutes.
A chisel and hammer.
Yeah.
Whatever's in the box, it's very well sealed, since he cannot get a scent on it.
I mean, one of
Sika.
one of the NPCs at Svantown was like a box opener.
Yeah, but there's no keyhole for the key man to put a key into.
It's true.
Sika really sold that statement with that emoticon.
Don't tempt me. I've used weirder things as weapons.
True.
And y'all are right, there is a Clef Key in Savantown, but this is not exactly the same as the other box.
There's no keyhole. What can Clef Key do?
Alas, we're not playing Pathfinder. There is no open-close spell right now. Or knock.
Rough knocks on the box.
Tie it to the end of a rope and use it.
As a flail.
That would be the most effective use of weapon. That would be the most effective weaponization, I suppose. That reminds me of the video of a doggo swinging around basically a flail in its mouth. I think that got
that's
or
a
something.
Terrifying.
Dog was just having a great time creating a murder weapon.
If you all are heading out, as I recall, it was 2 days ranch and then 2 days in Savan. Am I correct on that, chat? Or was it a day and a half?
Didn't think it was that long.
I think it was a. I think it took a full day.
Very long day.
Yeah, I think it took a full day to travel.
Okay.
With occasional breaks, but not very many.
Mm-hmm. And you guys don't necessarily need to take breaks. That was more for group benefit, so you could probably get back to Savantown by, like, nightfall.
Probably a bit late, because the original trip, as somebody in the chat noted, it was kind of a case of leaving early in the morning, arriving there later in the night. So it was definitely a full-on day travel. So if we're not leaving instantly in the morning, which I doubt we are given how we slept, we'll probably get there pretty late. But all the same.
Yeah.
It works.
If you all press on through the night, you would probably get there at, like, 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'd estimate.
Really?
Not that I think many of you are up for traveling that long. But, yes. You all are leaving, so let us bear with Kyrio, because long.
Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead, Kyrio. And take your time. Actually, while Kyrio writes that, Ralph's been a bit quiet. What's Ralph been doing after eating?
Oh, well, after that snip at the Houndoom, he's mostly gonna stay quiet, look over his things, and agree that they should get a move on as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm. Tucker might actually have the idea of looking for some sort of treatment for his back situation, but he's not going to worry about that right away. He'll probably seek that in Savan. He certainly has the funds to seek it. Oh, god damn it. Fucking Tiber took a lot of money with him.
Yeah, it took over $1,000.
No, 1,700.
It's not 1,700. Those are tens, not 100.
Oh, wait, no, I know you're right. 1,071 then.
Still over 1,000.
$1,000. I am loaded, but you still have more money than me.
True, but Tiber doesn't deserve that money.
He doesn't deserve the body he's in. Why are you worried about the money?
Because in RPGs, when some asshole leaves your party, they're supposed to leave all the stuff behind, so you get to keep it still.
He's also got, the lucky egg, the fucking observer orb, the drugs.
My point stands. Wait, he's carrying his own skull now.
He's got his own skull. Let's not dwell on the internal logic of that too much.
He's carrying his own skull. That's an interesting situation. Tiber does have the egg. What egg?
The lucky egg.
Oh, the lucky egg?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Not that it matters too much.
Damn, it's one of those we're playing one of those damn older, like, Final Fantasy games where, like, if you don't remember to remove the equipment from the guest party member, they're gonna keep it when they leave.
I hated that so much, and it's why I'm paranoid, so if I know a party member's gonna leave or something, I take it off I take off whatever they have, no matter what game it is.
It's like, yeah, you're about to go into this big boss fight with me, but how about you're naked? Because I know you're leaving right after the boss fight, so I don't, yeah, I'll do without you.
Start.
Okay.
A few moments into the trip home, Brooke stops and looks at everyone. Team, I have something to say. And I want to say it all before you say anything. He rubs his head slightly. We are Team Cheer. Whatever that means to you, to me it means I have some reason to be here, he says with a smile. I'd probably be some kind of jerk like SolusOwl if I wasn't given something to focus on. He laughs nervously. But I realize none of you really asked to be here. And maybe I haven't been the strongest leader. Made mistakes. Nearly got us killed. He grimaces. But he claps his hands together. So let's make a choice now. Whatever happens, we'll make sure Team Cheer is whole again. Riley isn't gone. He's still alive, and that means we can get him back. If you're with me, then I will lead you with all that I have. In exchange, I need you to respect my authority. If you don't think I deserve it, then I understand. You can do things your own way. But we're going to find Tiber and put him down if it kills us, Brooke says with conviction. So, who's with me?
Yo, Captain, my captain. I trust you. I am with you.
Without hesitation, Lizard steps forward and offers their hand. I'm with you.
Tucker does step forward as well, offering his paw. He looks to Brooke and says,
You're not the only one that made some big mistakes. I feel I made even bigger ones, but...
He smiles a little bit, sort of bashfully at his own thoughts.
Ultimately, we can make up for mistakes. And I've always trusted you, Brooke. And I'll keep trusting you. Please lead me, and all of us.
I feel like we should have had Brooke's theme going.
Do you want me to change it? It's not too late.
If we can, yeah. Just
Sure.
quick.
That would be, I think it's in events too.
Yep.
Nope. Actually, yeah, it is. Never mind. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud.
Where is it? It must be in Events 1.
No, it's Events 2. It's number 3.
Oh,
Yeah, Vince, sorry, I was muted. I actually said, I was like, it's Vince 2, number 3, it's fine. It is actually worth knowing that I have established character themes, partially with Solus' music, partly with other things, for all of our main characters. I could see about. Well, boy, they're actually in the. They were shared in our Pokerole. You could probably search them out using Control Find. Probably under fan content, I believe that's where they were put. They were shared a while back, but they are there.
And I do apologize, Eragon. I know you haven't gotten a lot today.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't really do much last time either. And I was fine.
True. Alright then. Brooke genuinely smiles before pointing the way forward. Let's move out, team, he announces, a renewed confidence in his step, and a strangely familiar feeling as he leads his team home.
Is the Houndoom just kind of there as well?
I mean, yeah.
Just awkwardly while this speech is happening?
What's so awkward about seeing people do a pep talk?
Wait, he's not included, he's just be standing there quietly.
Well, Houndoom isn't really officially part of the team yet. It would be weird for him to intervene.
Slowly added to a collection of fire types we picked up from the wilds.
Holy crap, that's right. You collected fire types and exclusively fire types. How have I not noticed this?
That's actually a good point.
Fire types.
How have... It must be my fire type preference bleeding through.
Now that you're bitching all this, so I'm just imagining had Doom play his pod and being like, I'm not part of the character development you guys went through, but yeah!
No, he's not that dumb. Fresh, but dumb. It's not exactly the... Yep. Yeah, the Houndoom kind of understands.
He knows
like,
the hell that went through that
Mudbray,
place, so...
Yeah, the Mudbray, the Houndoom, and Mudsdale don't know what happened. But based on the state you came back in, it's sort of that unspoken rule of just don't ask, it's not a good time.
Oh yeah.
They might ask later, but also this prevents you guys from having to explain it again. Because there's explanation between team members as well. As you head out through the Rusty Canyon, it's definitely not the earliest start you could have gotten. This is also true, that Brooke recapped for Tucker, and Houndoom was kind of around. Might not have been completely listening, but may have caught snippets. And the travel passes kind of uneventfully. It's strange. After having spent so much time deep in an underground dungeon, under constant threat from trap and enemy, now it's this semi-cloudy, sunshine-filled day in this arid place. By comparison, it's almost a utopia. But only by comparison, mind you. It's still dusty. It's still a long trip.
Is it an eventful enough trip to play music for Rusty Canyon, or is it going to be a simple enough trip all along?
This. Are you all going to stop for lunch or settle down for the night at all?
Or are we going to
push
through just to get back?
Yeah, Dad, push. Unless Brooke stops us, I think we're gonna
Tucker would be under the impression to get back ASAP. And also, last time they were trailing through Rusty Canyon, there was the what are they called, Terminators, I think, or something. And like there were threats even with a larger group, so probably best just to keep on the move and head back so that no major fights or events happen, because they're all kind of still recovering. It's like a no.
Oh, please no.
Oh, I don't think they're rushing. I don't feel like this is we gotta run or anything like that. I feel like this is just keeping a solid pace. Maybe taking a small break, but just like a water break, basically. You guys are insane. Though that does, seeing some sliders around would not be surprising, I suppose.
I'm gonna pin the character booms.
Sure. I was actually thinking somebody should probably do that. Just pin them from whatever channel they're in. That'll be just fine. Wait, do you have permissions to pin? I can give it to you if you don't.
I guess we'll find out.
Unless someone is concerned for their health, Brooke wants to get back ASAP, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the most logical thing here was, like, after that pep talk, especially, what does Brooke want to do? You know? I think that makes the most sense.
In which case, you can put on the good night too.
Okay.
Because by the time you get back to Savannah, and that should be events 2, number 10.
210. Okay.
By the time you all get back to Savannah, a sight you never felt like you'd see again after the vacation, after going into the Stone Alcazar. It's a welcome sight. And something inside all of you just unwinds. Seeing those familiar houses, the buildings, the quiet market. There's no lights on, at least, that you can see. But it's a sensation of returning home.
Guys, it feels like it's been forever. That's
Hard to hear you.
Yeah, you got a little way from your mic there, I think.
Oh, yeah. My little boom was put up.
Your boom didn't boom.
Yeah, my boom mic was up and not down anyway.
That's okay.
Guys, it sure does feel like forever since we've seen this place.
Yeah.
I mean, we were only gone a week, but it feels like it's been months.
We've made this joke already.
I know, but we're still going to keep making it.
I mean, it's still a true joke, so sure.
I mean, it makes sense in context. I feel like it would feel like it's been months.
Tucker doesn't say a whole lot, but he does kind of breathe and clearly release some tension as they happen to back to Savannah Town. It's quite late at this point, obviously.
Indeed.
Sorry.
You all are starting to feel real tired.
I doubt there's anyone to even greet us at this hour.
Not really. There is a night guard, but it's not Noibat, fortunately. It looks like it must be Viper on guard duty. Brooke visibly relaxes as he returns to the dusty town. Sea spray may have the ocean, but at some point, this place started feeling like home. Brooke heads to the clubhouse. If only words. Yep, official session, I had to words. If only to let Pangoro or someone know that you've all made it back. The Houndoom has been following, mostly quietly, though during the trek they've tried to chat a little bit. It's not like they have a terribly interesting set of stories to share, but it helps.
In that case, Tucker would probably share in that chatting, feeling kind of on the level of being able to talk to another canine. He'll probably ask the Houndoom one specific thing, asking where the Houndoom is from, basically.
Apparently, the Houndoom used to be a gladiator, but they gave that up to just start wandering around. The Houndoom was, for all intents and purposes, quote-unquote, wild for a while. It was certainly an experience, but not one they care to repeat anymore.
Blindfold. Oh, blindfold.
Brooke was no part of wildness, apparently.
Brooke, so why do you keep that blindfold on you and keep randomly put it on and off?
Clearly, he has a double eye patch.
Oh, Kyrio, actually, I think I can answer that question. If you completely remove a key, it might just come back later when you restart the TTS. You might have to bind it to another key to make it not pop back up. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me.
Brooke, what are you doing, Brooke? You freaked me out.
Brooke needs to, like, be drawn Swaya Pinata at this point. Because he just keeps putting on a blindfold. Tucker will find the Houndoom story kind of interesting and not really say too much about it, but a bit of the wildness might bring his mind back to when he hunted with the prince, actually, which kind of gave him a taste of that lifestyle, so to speak. I'm sorry to hear that, Selena.
The Houndoom has hunted before. It's not an unpleasant experience. And, well, whatever he hunts is easily roasted. but he understands it's better to only do it when necessary. Brooke is also most interested in the wild part of the story, but he will mention that the team managed to become champions at the team tournament, which in turn interests the Houndoom. It also tells him that you guys are pretty strong. Not that that wasn't obvious by you all coming out alive.
So what was your gladiator name?
I don't want to talk about that.
Maybe something cool like the Horn Dog.
Deadpan stare. Begins to follow Brooke to the Pioneering Club.
Tucker will...
The club is dark.
Oh, actually joined in, I was going to say. It's okay, I was going to add in that Tucker will consider going to Rises like he's done before, but given the hour, he doesn't want to disturb Rise. And decides to go with Brooke, and probably the others as well.
Yeah.
The club is dark. There's nobody on the ground floor, but it's not like they generally have a need to lock the front door of the club. It's quiet. Everything seems to be where it was left. If anything, perhaps a little bit tidier, but the bar is there, the tables, the seats. The only thing missing are the Pokemon, all asleep at this hour. Since Brooke is intent on Pangoro, I suppose, I would assume they're heading upstairs?
That's where I'd be headed. Like, I'm letting Brooke lead the way.
Houndoom can wait here. We'll ask about where you can stay, Brooke says, heading upstairs. Houndoom nods, sighs, but takes a seat at one of the tables, even though it's empty. Mumbles something about missing being served food. Yeah, that's the proper field there.
I know, I think Houndoom is stuck. Oops. Oh, you got him. Good.
No, you have to click and hold for some reason.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's on that. I'll fix that.
We can probably swap to the Pioneering Club one soundtrack if you want.
Sure. Oh man, it's been a while since we played that one. One moment, everyone. A nice musical variety today.
Yep. I'm trying to be better about it.
It's fine if we don't have variety, but it's also fine if we do have variety. Alright.
What's the number?
You will want number 13 under locales. Also, thank you, by the way, Hun. You didn't used to play music. In fact, you outright didn't want to, but now you've been doing it more often, I notice. I appreciate that because I did put a lot of effort in finding all the music.
Like, all my music contains lyrics, makes it more difficult to pay attention.
Exactly. I'm good at instrumental. When it comes to instrumental stuff, that's my bag. That's where you can rely on me for good stuff. So. All right, there we go. I think that will do.
Does everyone follow Brooke, or are they staying downstairs?
Yeah, I'm going with Brooke to help with the debriefing.
Yeah. He'll stay. Tucker will stay with Brooke too.
Lizard will go as well. I mean, this leaves Pangoro. Wow. This leaves Houndoom alone downstairs, but that doesn't seem to be an issue. They don't seem to be a bad sort. Brooke will knock on Pangoro's office door. Hey, anyone there? There is a familiar Ursine grumbling, a thud, some heavy footsteps, and the door opens. You can see some sort of cot has been set up in the office. This might be where Pangoro actually sleeps. Wait, you're back? I was wondering when you'd all arrive. Of course, it had to be at some Arceus in our... I'm inside.
Yeah, but it's important. There's a lot important to talk about.
Sorry to bug you, Brooke says, raising a brow at the cot. We just got here. I surmised. And then he blinks and notices Riley's absence. And Ralph's words sort of click in his head. Get inside now, he says with a renewed firmness, stepping aside so that you all can enter his office.
There you go, Ralph. Now you won't trip over Pokeballs.
I do like the idea that Ralph trips on the way in. On like the door frame.
It's also a better place for the trash ball anyways. It's kind of out of the way that way.
Oh.
Sorry, I just wanted to see it.
Oh, nice. And suddenly, and then Houndoom Mega Evolved. I forgot actually he had a Mega Form.
You just covered in more bones.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Houndoom's
Is that
Mega
right?
Form.
Let me look
I
at
think
it.
it could have been done better.
Let me look at that again. More bones? No, he gets like taller too, and his snout.
Really?
His snout shape changes. He gets a thicker snout, and the markings on his face. The markings on his face get more pointy. Yeah, I guess. I mean, and his tail gets into a spade shape, so it looks. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's not a ton of changes.
It's a Biden shape.
There's not a ton of changes, but to be fair, that's how I feel about a lot of Mega Evolutions. Not a ton of changes, so.
Yeah,
That's about on point.
There's better designs.
It's also worse
I mean,
designs.
It shouldn't look completely different. It should just look like if the Pokemon had a stage 4, or if the Pokemon had a stage 3, if it's a
More like a 3.5 or something, but.
Yeah. Anyway. Brooke enters without a word, as does Lizard.
Should we do a theme change, says the audience? Again?
Yes.
Alright. Yo, that means audience, 1 second.
Does Pangoro have a serious theme?
Pangoro does not have his own serious theme. There are some serious themes. You want me to point out one? I'll need a second.
Sure.
Let's see. I think you'll want Event 1 for this. I believe that's where all the serious themes are. As to which one?
Not Brooding Crisis.
And just start poking through those. You'll find one. It's actually better if you do it, because otherwise people just hear this.
29.
That way I don't have to change the song over and over again, and everybody gets confused because I keep changing the song. I'll try to find a good one, so I'll let you decide. Possible good ones are not... Yeah, 9 was one. 23 could work. 24 could work.
51 is Tension. We might as well.
Titchin? That's a bit of a slightly more tits one, but yeah, sure. Okay.
I take it Tucker and Ralph also enter.
There we go. Put it at 1.25 or 1.5. What? Oh, you guys are talking about how to watch the Pokerole.
As soon as Team Cheer has entered, Pangoro shuts the door and makes sure it's locked. He moves around the cot and sort of stands beside his desk. He definitely looks tired, but I mean, you just woke him up. I don't exactly have assumptions right now. So tell me what happened. One at a time. One step at a time.
Ralph will look to Brooke and look to Pangoro. Well, it started, when you had us go after Mudsdale. We went down into the canyon, and our lizard friend here helped us out. Surprise number one, it turns out that the Salandit Bandit hideout was in that canyon. So our Salandit friend helped us navigate through the traps. And we rescued Mudsdale, and we also rescued a handful of other prisoners. One of them is downstairs, but that's not important right now. I guess we skipped to the part where Tiber killed SolusOwl. SolusOwl's dead, but we couldn't stop him. He left with Tiber with Riley's body. Now I suspect that he's going to the Cave of Mirrors to evolve Riley's body and get revenge on you and Riley. I don't know what for, but that's what I suspect.
I was worried that this sort of thing would come. SolusOwl almost killed Blizzard. Riley saved their life. In return, Tiber took over, Brooke adds. Lizard looks down at the floor, rubbing their arm. It's true. But if I hadn't... That is enough. Pangoro stops the Salandit, holding up a hand. I do not want to hear that kind of talk right now. I know I have reiterated this many times to all of you, but do not tell Rise. I understand that keeping such a secret can be difficult. But at this juncture, I fear that if Rise knew, you would have no chance to save your friend. He sighs through his nose, pinching the bridge of his snout. You mean Rise would try to kill him again? Brooke says. Yes. I know he would. Because that's what Rise felt needed to be done. It was what I was too coward to do when Tyler got out of control. Beyond control.
Tucker looks.
I think he's going.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Our timer is terrible. I was just going to say that Tucker looks very conflicted with this discussion about what Rise would do. Do you mind if he interjects a word?
Go ahead.
How can you be so sure?
He sort of half speaks under his breath, but it's clear that he doesn't want to see Rise as somebody who would just do that.
I say this only because I know Rise this well. He wouldn't do it out of maliciousness. He would do it out of fear.
That causes Tucker to look up. He's sort of surprised.
I don't think any of you quite understand how much Rise has suffered through all this. Tiber was his husband. And when nobody would step up to stop him, Rise felt like it was the only thing he could do to save everyone else. I couldn't save my friends from this fate. But I am imploring all of you. And surprisingly, Ngoro gets down on his knees and bows his head to the floor. I am begging all of you. Do what I could not, and save your friend. Neither you nor he deserves to suffer for my cowardice again. To suffer for our mistakes. I can't leave to take care of this. Instead, I am going to preoccupy Rise and every other pioneer. I'll keep them out of your way. I will give you whatever supplies you require to get to the cave. But after that, if Tiber is already there, the only one you can count on is Komo. Ngoro has begun to tremble.
I
He's
was
keeping his head down.
I was kind of hoping for more help than that. To be honest, can't you send the flying Pokemon over to warn him or something?
What good would it do? Komo cannot deny those who want to take the trial. And even if he stalls Tiber, do you really think Tiber wouldn't see through it?
while this goes on, Tucker was almost as taken aback as Ralph was when Pangoro made this plea the way he did. But after processing it, Tucker stands firm and gives Brooke a very resolute look. A look that says, we're gonna do this. Right?
Well, what about the Pyro tribes? They owe us a favor, don't they? Can they be contacted to try and intercept them and buy us more time?
Perhaps. I hesitate to endanger others in this matter. And I know I am by sending all of you, endangering you. But I will send a pick-a-peck with a missive. I don't know if it will reach them in time to matter. But it is one of the least things I can do.
I just suppose now is as good a time as any to inform you that well, ever since we were there last time, Riley's been carrying around Tiber's skull. I don't know if that's significant, but I figure we should share all the information we have. There's also a necklace.
Lifting his head, Pangoro rises up to his knees. He's been carrying Tiber's skull. And
Yes.
a necklace.
Yes.
Mercy is above.
Is that bad? That sounds like it's bad. That doesn't sound like a trivial detail.
No, it's not. Rise can pretend like I don't notice, but I know he goes out to that grave. He hasn't had a chance yet. Look, if you can manage it, if you can save Riley, try and return those things to the grave. Rise will notice if they're gone. If Rise notices, I can't imagine what he'll start going through again. Ngoro's eyes are moving back and forth as he's thinking, as if trying to find ways out of this. Just ways to keep his friend ignorant of what's happened. Why is everything just crashing down now? After so long. None of you are in a state to keep traveling. Not now. I need more rest. To think, to plan. Do you know how it might be possible that he came back? Brooke asks. Shaking his head vigorously, Pangoro slams his hands into the floor. No. I wish I knew. and I would wring the neck of whoever was responsible. My friend died that day. He died without ever becoming better than a monster. He deserved peace. But there's one thing I can do right now. And he gets up and moves around behind his desk. For your bravery, for your actions in scattering and depleting the resources of an enemy organization, for what can only amount to heroism. And he brings out silver badges for the 4 of you to grant you the silver rank. Show it to Blaze in the morning. He'll get you set up with your new bags. This will also entitle you to 2 meals a day in the cafe, as much good as that'll do you at the moment. And there is still the matter of land for you to build your own house here in Savannah. But these are all matters for another time.
Ralph appreciates going, the formality of listing everything that comes with it. And, thank you, Pain Goro.
Now it's curtly giving the medal that had once been meant for Riley to listen to. I am sorry. And though I know I wish that things could be different, I pray for your success. I pray for your friend. Brooke nods and takes the badge. Let's go, team. We'll talk later.
Don't forget about the Houndoom.
What about the Houndoom? Oh yeah.
You need to figure out where he's gonna sleep. Don't leave him downstairs.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds fair. I'm surprised nobody brought this up, but I didn't really feel it was appropriate for Tucker to bring it up. But if Riley's body is super messed up and mangled as it was, I would presume that Tiber couldn't just go straight to the Hall of Mirrors, that he would have to recuperate somewhere first.
Yeah, I would think. So.
So perhaps it's worth positing where that somewhere could be. But at the very least, it means more time to cut him off, or get there first.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that can be mentioned. We should have some time. His body was beat up pretty bad. He won't be going straight there. But, yeah. Ralph will retreat with Brooke to the room they've been using. Temporary team chair head.
He stops you all before you leave. I can grant you one of the side rooms to sleep in. Some privacy. And it would make it easier for all of you to get ready in the morning. It's not much, and they aren't really built with sleep in mind. But at least that way you don't need to share space with those who would pry.
We'll let Brooke respond to that.
Sounds fair. While Tiber may have had a bit of a head start, Tiber was also more broken up, like physically speaking.
We appreciate it, Pangoro, Brooke says. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Whether he's referring to sleeping or just the situation in general is in the air. Pangoro nods, sighs, tiredly. But he doesn't press the matter with offering the side room. And he leaves you all to your own devices. For now. We can go back to good night.
Okay. That is on back to Vids 2, I believe.
Yep, 10.
There you go. By the way, I was just going to remark, Sinka, thank you for all the support and indeed high praise as well. That would be pretty cool if somebody did that.
I would love that, but I don't know how well it would work.
Well, it can't create an exact one-for-one. I have played a few RPG Maker PMD fan games. While they don't quite have the same flair, since random map generation isn't exactly a tribute of those, they're still nice little things. Actually, I got a few more I should check out for my YouTube.
You could have pseudo-random map generation.
Could have it choose a random warp between different maps, effectively. So
that and you can use map parts to, because like you can use events to trigger barriers to be there or not be there. You could. It would be a ton of work.
I was going to say it would be
a ton of work. Very clunky and
it'd be a bit tedious to set up, but theoretically it would be possible.
Yeah, it'd be very ugly, but it could work.
Sin says that if they were commissioned to adapt the series into a comic, they'd do it. That's a big project.
Don't tempt me, Frodo.
That is a huge project, though.
That would be a big project. I mean, even if you just, kept it... Because I know a manga adaptation will, speed over certain parts and stick to the story beats. Even so, it would be quite a project. That would be intriguing, though.
That would be a treat.
I'd read that comic, and I've lived it.
I'd live it again.
I mean, I've done a few. I'd record a comic reading of it if such a thing existed, because I've done a few other comic readings for other things like mangas and such. So, totally be up for that.
Will it be a town episode, Kyrio? I feel like it only may start as a town episode.
Maybe? We'll see. So, where are you all going to end up sleeping? Also, I must acknowledge this lizard art. It's been here a while. It's Adora-sad.
Adora-sad, yeah. Y'all just threatening us with like a lot of really work intensive projects here.
I don't think we won't fund these things.
Alright.
Threaten us. I fucking
So-
will do it.
When you guys get the Houndoom, he's apprehensive about, using a room in the club without actually being part of it, but he doesn't really question it either. A nice place to sleep right now just sounds amazing. There is a side room, one that's not locked at least. And yeah, it's a little late to ask for permission. Also, Pangoro's not really going to be that grumpy about it.
Dear,
It's probably not
gift is
that
still
uncommon
on
an
screen.
occurrence. But yeah, you make it to the side room. It's not big, but it's big enough for all five of you. It again, a bit of a squeeze, not quite sardine can, but close. So, I would like Brooke, Ralph, and Tucker to give me insight survival alert checks during the night.
Let's see here. 3, 4, 5.
Which is it, 2 or 1, or what are you gonna get? 2. For some reason, I just knew it wasn't gonna be any other number.
Jeebus. Hey Ralph, do you want to use your lucky hat?
Why not? It's probably close to the end.
This is like the only role I've made you all do.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
All
There's only
session,
roll.
which isn't really.
Unfortunately.
Well, thankfully this is super low because y'all are packed in, and Blizzard may have made the mistake of being
what?
in the back of the room.
Oh, okay.
But Tucker and Ralph noticed, like, Brooke is out of it like a log, unfortunately. But Tucker and Ralph are mildly aroused as Lizard precariously clambers over their bodies to leave the room. They're doing their best to be quiet. In fact, let's see how quiet they are. Well, they have.
Do they have points in stealth?
Yeah, Lizard has a point in stealth.
Oh. A singular point indeed.
Yeah. not so stealthy enough. In fact, Brooke, flip a coin. Heads, you get roused by the Salandit. Tails, you don't. Brooke is groggily roused by the Salandit. Also, you Riley, right?
Chris really wanted me to
have a
share.
knife?
Gotta shake. I think it's just the. I think it's just the claw. I think it's just the. Wait, they don't have Pokebits though. Not Riolu's.
Gonna stab a bitch. Already stabbed the bitch.
Oop. Assumed that the table back set. What was that coin flip over?
Yep, the coin flip is done.
No,
Brooke is groggily roused by the moving Salandit.
Oh, okay.
Even though Lizard hasn't quite noticed. And it looks like Lizard is going outside.
Oh.
Nope.
I'm sorry, I was just curious, like, Lizard's tail's over the coin, what happens if I, like, flip it? That's what happens, apparently. I'll put Pango away.
So the question is, do any of you do anything about this?
Well, who's awake about it?
All of you.
Oh.
All of you. Brooke is most groggy and probably only just glimpses Lizard as they leave. Then again, their new blue color helps them stand out a little.
Tucker is having massive concern for Lizard, given that he knows how close he was to Riley. So, while he's not entirely sure what's going on, Tucker will kind of quietly plop out of his own bed and pad after Lizard to see what's up.
Ralph will...
Brooke groggily watches Tucker leave after him and decides to go back to sleep. This is fine.
Ralph will just kind of keep his ears alert in case anything, but he won't follow them.
So Ralph isn't following.
Yeah, he really considers it, but...
That's fair. Though this isn't really a scene for you guys.
It's worth noting that Tucker is just concerned that Lizard could perhaps go on his own or something, or do something rash. But he's not, like, chasing Lizard down. He's more just kind of following and see what he's doing. I guess you could say that it might be worth for Tucker to roll some sort of stealth roll, actually.
Yeah, go ahead. That will be Dex Survival Stealth. You're actually really good at that.
Hey, yeah, actually, when did I get a point in stealth? I don't even remember that.
I seem to recall you put a point in there when you were being the sneaky boy.
Okay, I'll take a 3. That's like a good roll for me, so I'll take it.
I'm also imposing a penalty on Lizard, because they're not really paying attention. And if they had rolled 4, it would have been fine. They would have seen you, but no. Identity would be good here. That is events 223, I believe. No, that's events 123, sorry. Lizard leaves the Pioneering Club.
Wait, hold on. I was trying to answer something in the chat. What song are we playing?
Oh, Identity. 23, event 1.
Okay. Got it.
Lizard leaves the Pioneering Club, and they make their way out toward the marketplace where the oasis is. They stare up at the semi-cloudy sky, at the moon. A half moon. Though they don't make sounds, the Salandit begins to cry, their tears dripping slowly into the cool water before them. So, Tucker, could you make another stealth check for me, please?
Okay. What was it again?
That would be Dex, Survival, and Stealth.
I just realized it didn't matter. I could just look at the number of dice I rolled last time and just match it. Oop. Stealth is reducing.
Okay. As you draw nearer, something rises from the water. A smooth, silvery figure. It is unnervingly humanoid in shape, but it lacks features. Different from the clockwork. As if someone had poured liquid moonlight into a mold. It moves in strange, fluid motions on the surface of the water. And it draws near to Lizard. Lizard looks up. They're in shock. Perhaps awe. As the featureless visage of this creature leans down close. And they hold something shimmering in one hand, lowering it down.
Tucker is very much caught off guard. And indeed, his lowered stealth ray relates to the fact that he nearly leaped into action to protect Lizard, but he stops, unsure of the intentions of this thing. He does slowly approach in a very guarded way, though still trying to be somewhat quiet about it. He can't identify what this is.
Okay. One more stealth check.
Oh. Damn, double ones. That was almost a 4.
Sadness. As you pad closer, you can hear the voice of this creature. It is strange, resonant. It causes small ripples over its form. You meet experiment, cannot reach failed one, as you are, were, will be. With this gift, transition, take interstice, pathway, road to strength. And you may become anew, reborn, enough to take, return what is yours, ours, theirs. It holds whatever is in its hand closer to Lizard, who shakes as they look between this so-called gift and the creature offering it. Tucker, if you want, you can do Insight Survival Alert to see if you can see what it is. But the light it emits is familiar.
Oh.
Alas, you're too far away to see what it is. You could get closer, but you would risk being seen. If you haven't been already.
Tucker is still rather unsure. His eyes are darting between Lizard and this thing, and his ears go between folded and pricked up as he's not sure what the intentions are. He cannot figure it out. He cannot feel it. Effectively, he allows this to play out for now, but already he has a little bit of dark aura at his sides, ready to do something if that thing lays a hand on Lizard. But he also understands that perhaps this is Lizard's choice, too.
So with this, I can save Riley. The creature dips its head and raises it again in a nod. Lizard screws their face into one of determination and takes the offered gift. And the creature speaks again. It is a strange language this time, but your mind, as if made for such a translation, knows what it says automatically. Heed me, vessel, with gift in hand. Listen well, to my command. What we have given, take to heart, for there your path to power starts. And then it retreats, whirling away like a slipstream of silver, and it morphs, arms extending, becoming great, broad things, large fingers like feathers, slats upon its back, and a wide tail, with an almond-shaped head, and it begins to fly off into the night in strange, undulating motions.
Ah, crap, I just had a great idea. I should have asked this sooner, but I was going to ask if Tucker could use empathy on it to figure it out, to figure out anything about it.
Would you like to?
May I, as it leaves?
Yes.
Insight contest etiquette.
You cast out your senses in the dark of night, the distance being no issue here. Not with it so late. And what you get back in return, it's strange. Overlapping fragments, voices upon voices. But there is one phrase that you catch with clarity, one that is not in the strange and resonant alien language. Objective accomplished. But even as it flies distantly, you can just barely see its neck twist unnaturally. And you could swear that the head is looking at you. Lizard holds their new gift close. The light gleams in their fingers. And they are quick to stash it away. They turn around, eyes to the ground, wiping away further tears as they hurry their way back towards the box.
I would like to say that Tucker most likely is not in the way and probably doesn't get seen by Lizard. As he likely stepped to one side to try to understand what was going on and see past Lizard's back, essentially. As such, Tucker is just left gazing at the sky. Look at the stars and wondering what just happened, before he turns and pads back inside as well.
When you return to the room, Lizard is in the far back, curled up. They don't seem so upset anymore. Still sad, yes. But even without utilizing empathy, you can feel that they are determined. There's a new conviction inside them.
Tucker gazes at Lizard for a time before settling back where he was sleeping. opting not to say anything, at least not for now.
I believe that is a good place for us to stop. I'd hoped to get further, but this leaves us much more time next time.
Honestly,
I apologize, Eragon, for the lack of things to do. I know last session wasn't much different. But...
Imagine literally not existing.
Though I imagine that even with him zoning out before the session, I think Eragon was still focused.
I was rather immersed watching all you guys cry.
You're still very invested of what happens to Lizard, too, so...
Oh, extremely.
And I should help the rest of the team, but...
I need to find that picture of the really smug cat getting a knife pointed at it and send it to Karserus, and then with the caption, "This is me at you," constantly.
I'm a crocodile, I don't cry. Crocodile tears. They're a thing. Kind of.
Internalized tears. It's how you fire your water gun.
Oh my god.
So geez, that... Whatever that was seemed clockwork-ish, but it wasn't clockwork. Does that mean it's friend or foe?
It was the T-1000.
Are all clockwork-esque things evil, or are there good ones? Tucker's not one to jump to conclusions about somebody's badness, and he would like to help for the best in any creature, so... Hence why he stayed his hand and didn't get involved. I think you can, Kyrio.
Yeah, I seem to recall that when I played Gold and Silver. The important thing to note about this creature is it has that same unnervingly humanoid body shape by default, but this one is distinctly different in that rather than having those sleek lines and details that the Clockwork's body has, it's vague, featureless, like liquid metal almost. The T-1000 is not exactly an inaccurate statement, even though it's certainly not that in particular.
Tucker found it unsettling, but he couldn't decide if it was bad. So...
Yes, Pop, you will not know what Clockwork is unless you play previous sessions, because, unless you watch previous sessions, because, yeah, I'm not going to spoil that for you. You need to go find it.
Well put, Digi.
This has been a bit of a roller coaster session.
Tell me about it.
Everybody gets 2 experience. As per rules, yes.
What? Wow, easiest experience I've ever got.
Literally.
Look, guys, I have experience again. Yay!
Riley, because we've already pre-done your stuff for the next few days. You should get 4 more experience just from what Tiber's been doing.
Yeah, you guys will find out soon.
Experience share.
It's my body.
Experience share.
It's true, it is his body.
Well, I'd say which directions was sharing which.
I mean,
technically.
Yeah, it's not inaccurate. It is not inaccurate. That's kind of what's happening. I should also point out that sleep this night allows you all to fully grasp the dreams from the other night.
For
They're
what you can make of
definitely-
them.
Yes, they're better fleshed out. They're more vivid. And almost more importantly, the static sings.
Once again, no fancy dreams for Riley.
Doesn't even get dreams.
Actually.
That tone is more
Tempt me.
concerning, actually.
I'm wondering if I should do a thing to you or not. I kind of don't want to, but
Haven't you done enough?
Never?
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone get their experience? Just to double check.
Yep.
Tubby?
Yep, I started.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you, Brooke, and Tucker all have lots of experience right now.
Well, we did earn a lot from all the terrible events, so.
I had 42.
You did. But there are things. There are things. I promise. I hope you all enjoyed today's session.
Definitely.
I hope the audience enjoyed today's session, even though it's full of tears and sadness. Logic is, I believe, 50?
Is it just flat 50 or is it 50 times your current total? I'll go look.
If it's latter, then ouch, that's a lot.
Go ahead and look.
I mean, it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, I think...
You know.
I believe Logic, Instinct, and Primal are all 50.
That sounds logical.
Yeah, it's just 50.
Okay.
Flat 50.
Flat 50 regardless?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Why'd this get turned?
I will say, Brooke, the part we didn't get to today was also one of those things where I would have been like, you should get a Logic for this. But we will get to that next time. Because that's part of the thing that you showed me before. You may or may not remember what that is. So, I'm gonna put him away.
Oh, we should share this key art before we go, because
I was actually just double checking to see if there's any more art. All right, there we go. Sure, I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the session, Car. It was, I've got a little more music organization to do because you actually wanted to change the music a bunch, which I'm happy about, mind you. It's very nice to have variety going on. And just having match moods and such.
There were some songs that I found in the list that was like, ooh, this would be nice, but no, it must be safe for later.
There's a lot of stuff I'm really, really looking forward to being played. Certain mountain, certain, to say one. I'm looking for that music particularly. I'm really eager about that music being played, actually. I really like that dungeon song, so.
Which mountain?
Oh, you know, the mountain. The most important mountain.
Oh,
it's been a while since we've talked about it, but the most important mountain that we've discussed before.
Is this the post-game important mountain?
No. It's not post-game. It's definitely main game important. Actually, yeah, there's some good post-game important mounts too. But I was talking main game important. I was talking Plains continent important. I was talking snowy important. Plains, yeah. Trying to remind you without actually saying it.
I'll tell you guys and everyone else this because I believe I already told Charm this before. After this sequence of events plays out, you all will essentially have the world open up a bit. You will have options on what you can do next. Especially because as silver rank, you now have a wider range of things that you can be commissioned to do. Or
yes, let's go over that.
To do.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we finally unlocked the open world.
We unlocked C-rank missions. C-rank missions. Track and defeat losses of Pokemon. Chase away humans close to guilds. That doesn't apply here. They did fan and stuff. Disable traps laid by humans. Okay,
Disable
again, just ignore humans. Put Pokemon there. Find garments and weapons for the guild. Teach young how to fight. Oh. Huh. I didn't know that was C-rank.
Yep.
Actually, instead of buying that...
Yeah, I just noticed the Pokerole module for... the PMD module for Pokerole just really wants to sandwich humans in there. B-rank missions. Infiltrate the closest human town to get goods. Like, why do they want humans so bad?
It really wants you to be Pokemon in the human world. it feels like, which I'm not really keen on.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea to play a Pokemon in the normal trader world. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's not really PMD.
No. Yeah, no, but again, that's not really PMD.
It's very odd.
If you want to include humans in your PMD game, by all means.
Yeah. But I would do it carefully. Also, Kyrio would like to buy a move for 29 XP. What are you buying? Chip away.
What move?
That works well with the belt you just got. Nibbles bit by bit. Even the stuff as the services.
I believe I'm going to purchase Tackle 2.0 Electric Boogaloo.
What's that? You mean takedown or
body slam?
Body slam, yes.
Body slam. Fair enough. Also, for those wondering, because I noticed there's a bunch of question marks that popped up. Yes, there's a post game. Every PMD has a post game. Main plot finished. World opens up. Go to other places. Think of how Super did it. Actually, it's a good example.
Coming to this, post game coming to this Twitch channel in 2025.
Yeah, probably. But think
honestly,
of how
at the rate we're going.
Think of how Super opened up the world for the post game, but think of how Explorers actually had a plot for the post game, and you've got an idea of what we're playing.
Where did Chipaway go?
Like, I would definitely argue that you didn't beat Explorers if you didn't do the post game story, because that post game story is also important.
Imagine playing the version of Explorers that had all the post game.
Okay, granted, Sky actually had more post game, but even Time in Darkness had the important post game technically. Though, granted, there's even more important post game added to Sky, so it was separate. But yeah, it was nonetheless a conclusion for some characters in the main game. So
Tubby's got body slam.
And you're not even close to facing classwork. How do you have post game plan? Because I have a million ideas and I shared them with Car, and then we agreed on some stuff. And also we have some fun stuff planned. We have flair, man. We got a main plot. We got a main theming going with the Plains continent, right? But after we get into the post game and go to other continents, well, different themes, different situations, different factions, different enemies, different this and that, you know.
It's still all gonna tie together.
You're gonna overthrow the monarchy.
That's the thing.
Take over England.
I mean, kind of.
And point more or less. It may not be strictly post game. The other continents are involved. We'll see. But I mean, PlaysCon is where everything important's happening for right now. So, you know.
Yeah.
As far as everybody's buying things. I kind of should I buy something? Everybody's buying.
I'm not buying anything. I'm broke.
Or should I just wait and remove the primal point?
Honestly, wait and remove the primal point. Take it from me, it ain't worth the hassle having no logic.
And yet it'd be interesting to have that. It'd be at the same time kind of interesting. Oh shit! I didn't. There is only one. There's only one thing I forgot to do this session, and it was to relate to the fact that the primal point was perhaps affecting Tucker a little bit. Like, he basically, you know how he slipped into his instinctual side, more wild side before. I would like to think that primal point is making that slip a little bit easier, basically. That is to say, basically, like you might catch him like barking at a squirrel or something. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Squirrels. Have we seen it Salandits?
Yeah, agreed it then. Whatever, Squolvit. I cannot understand why I still don't know the purpose of that Pokemon's name. Scovit. I don't think I quite understand the naming logic there.
Squovit, Squirrel and Covet.
Is that it? Is that what's the whole point? Okay. Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough. Now I understand it.
One of the best designs ever, by the way.
Though honestly, that whole primal point causing him to slip easier really hasn't come up this last session because he's been more focused on thinking and thinking good. So it hasn't come up, but it probably will come up later. Just to mention.
Let's see, do I want that extra point in survival or fight?
I could start putting points into intimidation.
I think what everybody was saying that the first primal point does literally nothing, but I think it would. I think it would be good for a little bit of character flavor to consider it, basically.
I mean, I've been writing this character flavor for
Actually,
41 episodes.
Were you doing that with your primal points? Were you having? Was Riley acting differently when he gained primal?
I got possessed.
Besides that.
Well, Riley's primal is just a little different.
Yeah, that's true.
I got my own specials instead of things that happen to me as primal goes on.
Yeah, Riley's much less feral.
Which you won't see with the second one for a little while.
I guess to summarize, I treat primal like a half point of instinct, as far as character attitude goes, not as far as actual mechanics.
You all will see what the second point of. I mean, hopefully you all will see what the second point will do to Riley. Don't kill him, please.
You have 2 points already.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Riley with him. You've just seen what's his face.
True. How did you forget his name?
That was a joke.
Okay.
God.
The second point of problem for Tucker would just make Tucker into a loyal dog, probably, and that would be sad, but I don't know. Sounds like you need one,
yes.
Kyrio.
Go take a nap, Kyrio.
You have a good nap.
Thank you for bearing with us so much tonight, because I know you've been tired.
Yeah. Oh, your first speech was really good, dude. Also, I noticed
your speech was amazing.
I noticed your commission. By the way, Kyrio, I'm just going to say this, right? You don't have to or anything if you don't want to, but I know that sometimes you're advertising your commissions on FA, and you sometimes have deals going on and stuff. I just wanted to say, if you wanted to shill that stuff in Pokerole sessions, you're allowed to, like at the end or whatever. Just wanted to give you the option if you wanted to boost sales or whatever. I don't mind. I'll give you shilling rights if you want to.
Well, if this is where the conversation is going, I'm also gonna go to bed.
I mean, it involves. I mean, there's a lot. He does a lot of Pokemon. It still feels on topic.
Eragon.
Good night, to Eragon.
Follow him.
I'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
I will ask you later.
Ask me what?
I'm tempted to share with you a thing, if only, but I don't know if I can trust you to not share it with other people.
Also, audience,
I'm not gonna share with anybody who at all watches this.
Audience, do you guys want me to shill Kyrio a little bit? Because he does have a deal going on for Christmas. That's why I brought it up. And actually, I just noticed that apparently he got he got no takers on his special either. Apparently, nobody did it. Nobody actually took him up on it yet. So actually, I'm gonna shill him. Fuck it.
Yeah. You shall also Wendigo. That is not a chunky Rockruff. That is a chunky Puccina. You really do want to at least listen to previous sessions if you can.
For sure. For anyone who isn't aware, Kyrio is actually the artist of many of these, of all of these portraits.
Yeah, like all these and this one, not the other Riley one currently, but this one, and these, and these are they're all Kyrio. Well, I mean, I colored the flat colored ones here. I colored those, but otherwise, yeah, it's his art. Yeah, he's doing a discount for anybody who gets basically a Christmas gift for somebody else with his art commission. So, which I think is really wholesome, and I'm surprised. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I can't say that word out loud. Yeah, I said half the word. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, it's nondescript pandemic, so you know, people have money, and I get that. But I just wanted to show him a little bit, especially if he's not actually getting any art commissions from this, from the deal he's doing yet. Because I think it's a really nice thing to do, you know? Discount commissions if you get somebody a gift. I think that's really wholesome, so... There you go! There's a link. Go check it out.
I get off the table for now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah. You know what, Kyrie, I'll try to update... I will try... Yeah, good night, dude, Car. And everybody. I'll try to update Lizard's tail color myself. I'll try to adjust that. Fortunately, his eyes are closed, so I don't have to mess with
that. If you can't mess with it, it's fine.
I should be able to color grab it out and fix it without looking weird.
I will. I should actually tell you a thing.
What's the thing?
I will tell you in private chat.
Okay.
But anyway, I will get off the call now. Don't forget, end of stream rocks boxes for those poor people who got them at the beginning.
Yes, we're gonna do those in just a little bit, guys. Just sit tight. Yeah. Good night to you. Good night to you. Well, Kyrio as well, if he's still here. But Karserus and Tubby, I'm gonna end the call as well in a minute here instead of doing. And we could do if you want a post game talk to me, we could do it like tomorrow. But I'm gonna move on to some other stuff and then in the stream. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch my friend who's playing some Cyberpunk.
Let me know how that game is. I was actually kind of curious. All right, good night to you, Tubby. And I will end the music there. But yes, stick around if you want to. But this will be the end of episode 49. So, my goodness me. So many sessions we've done at this point. But yes, the end of session 49. Stick around a little bit longer, those of you in the stream, if you want to hear some extra announcements, not just the Rocks box, something else too. But for everyone on YouTube, have a good night.